Okay, so the paper we're diving into today is called Do Souls Exist? And it's by Suresh Soni. Well, it's a deep one. The title is pretty direct, but the paper itself is anything but simple.
Yeah, right from the start, Sony takes us through this very personal experience. He claims he sort of, well, for lack of better words, channeled the spirit of his deceased father. He found himself writing poetry in Urdu, a language he doesn't even know, under a kind of trance, or I guess a mystical state.
Right, and that's the core of the paper, this tug between something that felt absolutely real and the endlessly slippery question. Was it all just in his head, or was it really a visitation from a soul? He's not making any big, absolute declarations. He's using his experience to ask all these impossibly big questions.
Yeah, and I like that the paper is not trying to, prove anything with charts or data points. It's really personal. He keeps circling questions like, are these sorts of experiences hallucinations, or are they legitimate evidence for life after death? Basically, do souls exist, or do we invent the idea to cope with death?
I was struck by how he really sits with that discomfort. He says, mystery is a big puzzle. The more I try to uncover the mystery, the more elusive it becomes. You get the sense that Sony is almost more interested in embracing the mystery than solving it. There's a humility there.
And he does dig into all these different explanations. Like, is it just the mind playing tricks? Or is it some kind of inherited memory? Or is there actually an afterlife? He even pulls in viewpoints from Vedic and Buddhist philosophy, modern neuroscience, and classic Western skepticism. At one point, he talks about how, consciousness might be fundamental, like more basic than the brain itself.
But then he also admits there's just as much uncertainty now as when he started. He holds up, for instance, how scientists and philosophers struggle with these ideas. Some say it's just coincidence, or subconscious projections, or brain chemistry. Others lean into the idea that mystical experience could be a glimpse into something real and vast and, frankly, unmeasurable.
There's this bit about the radio wave analogy. He says maybe consciousness or the soul is like a radio wave, out there in the ether, and sometimes people tune in. It's a poetic image. Actually, it reminds me, I once tried those meditation sound YouTube videos and swore I felt something, but that's probably a whole different thing. Or maybe not? Who knows?
No, I think that's kind of the point Sony's getting at. These experiences, whether they're genuine contact with some spirit realm or just brain weirdness, matter to people. They feel real, and they shape how we think about life and death.
And that's probably the takeaway for anyone reading, or, listening to us. Academic arguments and personal experience, they might never perfectly align, but that doesn't mean the questions aren't worth asking. Sony's paper nudges us to stay curious, not just to accept easy answers, whether they're spiritual or scientific.
Yeah, it's an invitation to reflect, not conclude. Like he says, sometimes the value isn't in solving the mystery, but in learning to live with it and letting it open us up to wonder.
Couldn't say it better. I mean, whether or not souls exist, the search for meaning, that's kind of a soul adventure in itself, isn't it?
Totally. And on that note, maybe we should think of more questions than answers, at least for today.